It is now 3:15, so I'd like to welcome everyone to the Ann Arbor Commission on Disabilities Issues meeting at the City of Ann Arbor. And we're going to go ahead and start with the roll call. And we're going to go ahead and actually start all the way to the left and then go all the way down.
I'm Heather Cook. I'm the HR liaison to the commission.
Matthew Solomon, Commissioner.
All right, I am Zach Damon, the Vice Chairman.
Kirk Westfall, Commissioner and City Council Liaison.
Larry Keeler, Commissioner.
Kathleen Mozak-Betts, Commissioner.
Allison Stroud, Commissioner.
Nick Koselniak, Commissioner.
Wonderful. And for those that I have not met formally, the new commissioners, welcome. And thank you very much to the great service that you're doing the city and the community of Ann Arbor. Thank you very much.
And to answer our question, yes, I think we do have a quorum, sir.
Yes, I think we do have a quorum. Thank you, Larry. All right, the next point is going to be the approval of the agenda. So does anyone want to start? Okay, Kathleen, you're in favor. Anybody? Oh, you have a question.
I have a correction.
Oh, correction.
U of M Council for Disability Concerns, it's actually the January meeting minutes, not November.
Okay.
And then I do believe that we do have a representative here from the AACIL. I know Carolyn no longer comes, but I believe Sophie is here.
Okay.
And that's not on here.
Okay. Well then, all right, we should make those corrections. So we'll go ahead and make those corrections. As far as the Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living, if they're here and they would like to present, I'd like to make an opportunity for them to do that. Okay, great. All right, so we can go ahead and make those corrections.
We never moved it first.
Well, right. But we're going to, Larry, so just give me 1 second. Thank you. All right, so do we want to move to go ahead and approve the corrections on the agenda? Larry, would you like to start that?
I'll move to approve.
Okay, anybody second?
I got it.
All right, great.
No discussion.
Wonderful. And thank you very much, Larry and Kathleen, for those points. All right. Next is the approval of the December 20th meeting minutes. Now, I don't know if anyone has had an opportunity to review those, but we can take a few moments to review those and discuss any corrections. Allison, do you have a question?
I'm ready to have the motion to approve.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We're supposed to second and
Yeah.
vote.
Then I
Talk
have-
about it.
I have two glitches.
Okay. All right.
Under absent, it has lists Albert Blix, but I do believe he's resigned from the commission, so he wouldn't be absent, he just wouldn't be on there at all.
Okay, so yeah, on the meeting minutes, yeah, Al Blixt.
I actually can't take those off
Oh, you
Oh.
cannot.
because he hasn't, the mayor's office didn't know that he resigned.
Oh,
So
okay.
It's automatically in register and you can't take it off, but they're working on it right now.
Maybe I can fix that later.
And then I have a question. Vacant position number 1 is listed under present. I don't understand, so can I ask that question now?
Sure, let's address it, and Allison, I will get to your question also.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened either.
Okay,
Okay.
That too.
yeah. Okay.
Just one correction, my name is Solomon. It appears a little different in section 3.
Okay. Yeah, so we could correct that as well.
Can I make a request and a correction?
Request and a correction by Allison,
Yeah.
sure.
Can I have a request to slow down the conversation a little bit? Because I thought we were going to motion to start talking about it.
Okay.
So that's why I have my hand up.
Oh,
So
okay.
let's slow down a little bit to make sure that we're all caught up, especially myself.
Sure.
I have a question about the meeting minute.
Okay.
When we talk about absent, are we also taking into consideration whether they're excused or unexcused absences? Are we not doing that anymore?
You know, Has that been something that the commission has done in the past?
Yes.
Has
I
it?
think we
Okay.
have done it in the past.
Okay.
So I was
Um,
just wondering about that, because we have it in the bylaws.
Okay.
That commissioner cannot have more than three consecutive unexcused absences.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if anything has been changed, but I know that people who have been absent were already excused. At
Sure.
least from what I know. So I just
Okay.
want to make sure we have an understanding of what absent means here.
Well, I think that's a great point, Allison, and I think making sure that we keep track of that also, hopefully limits the absences that commissioners have at meetings, and also keeps us abreast on who's attending. So, thank you, and, I will make sure that that's something that, all of us continue to do, to where if we will be absent at a meeting, and I'm sure I'll talk to Sally about that as well, that if we cannot make a meeting, and someone will be absent, that they can just shoot us an email prior and let us know that they'll not be able to attend, or that they are. All right? Okay. Any other points about the meeting minutes? Kirk?
Thanks. I think that's what Allison raised was a great point. I saw from the minutes that there's some discussion of the bylaws will be happening, and I don't know if absences is part of that discussion. I guess I would, I'm guessing that there may be a software limitation as to what we can include in the minutes or in Legistar. I tend to believe that there may not be more than just present or absent, just for the sake of voting and, what is excused, what's unexcused, how much time warning do you have to give, et cetera. So it begs some further questions, which I guess if that's something that should be discussed, by all means. So I just wanted to raise the possibility that there might be a limitation as to what could be reported on this, but I guess maybe if Heather could, if we want to ask Heather to investigate that, that's an open question.
Okay.
Yeah, my options are present, vacant, and absent. So I can include under where it says attendance, so-and-so commissioner was excused, and then just not write anything about the other commissioners if you want. But I can't mark that, in the actual roll call list, if that makes any sense. But I can put it on there if you guys want me to.
Yeah, I guess it determines on what would, I guess, be, good for everybody in terms of letting them know, who is present and who is not. Larry, you have a question about that?
Well, a comment. We can take it up further in the bylaw committee, which we haven't officially formed yet.
Okay.
But also, as far as the excused and unexcused, so we can keep track, since she can put excused in, but you can't put unexcused in, correct? So if you can put excused in, then obviously the blank ones are the ones that are further questioned, right? So we could just do it like that.
Yeah, I can't, in Legistar, I can't mark it as either, but I
Oh.
can put any language that you guys want me to underneath the official roll call section, if that makes any sense. So if you want me to say Commissioner X was excused, Commissioner A was not excused, I can do that.
And I suppose we could
I
probably,
don't know that I should do that.
I suppose we could probably talk to Sally and see how we're gonna do it. and maybe-
Yeah,
But we do need to keep tracking of it. That we do need to start doing.
Allison, you have a question?
Yeah, I was going to say that we should talk about that in the bylaws committee a little bit further rather
Okay.
than focus on this topic. Because I think Sally would be a useful resource to have a conversation with to determine what is the best course of action for keeping track. It could be that Heather takes into consideration on who's excused or not excused, and then that information could be relayed to Sally for her record only, not that we all need to know. But it's just something that I think we should be keeping track, just to be sure that we know what's happening. and whether we need to address any concerns with activities regarding to the commission.
No, it's a great point, Allison. I agree with you. I think if you guys with the bylaws committee can do that, and of course I will let Sally know of this development as well, that you guys will be reviewing sort of how attendance and also meeting attendees keep track and sort of who's attending and who's not. I think that's something that's definitely useful for all of us. So, thank you. Okay, is there any other questions or points about the meeting minutes? All right. Anybody in favor then to sort of approve the correction?
We'll call the question.
All right.
All in favor, say
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Wonderful, thank you.
Just out of curiosity, just in case you want to do it, we haven't called the question for the December minutes either.
Well, the December minutes, the 20th is what we were going over.
Oh, that was the December ones?
Yep.
They're still, oh, we didn't get to, okay, my fault.
Okay. I'm sorry, Larry, was I not
No,
clear?
no, my fault. I thought we were
Okay.
talking about that we went over them,
Okay.
went to the next batch.
Do you have a question about those, or are we?
I do not.
Okay. All right. All right, so next, we have, oh, that's right. We have Katie Monkevitz for a presentation with the Washington Library for the Blind and Physically Disabled. Now, Katie, before you begin, if we may, and I probably should have done this at the approval of the agenda, but I would like to also have Sophie from the Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living present after you as well, okay? So if we could add that to the presentation points in the presentations today, that would be great. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to first pass out the print edition of the January Ann Arbor District Library events.
Those are on your website too, correct, Katie?
That's correct.
So if I want to look them up, since you didn't bring your own copies.
That's right.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm just going to highlight a couple things that we have coming up. This weekend on Saturday, January 20th, at the Westgate Branch from 2 to 3:30 p.m., we have an Apple showcase presented by Mac Technics. This is an Ann Arbor Apple users group that's been around for more than 30 years. And you can bring your Apple device and get help with it. Maybe you just got one over the holidays and you're not sure exactly how to use it. They're here to help. They've been helping Ann Arbor residents for a long time, and they will be also training and demonstrating some new uses for Apple gear and some new products as well. So that should be really interesting. The other events that I'm going to talk about have to do with a book that I've discussed here before, Homegoing by Yaa Agassi, which is our Washtenaw Reads book this year. We're sort of coming to the end of that cycle, and so we're going to start with some book discussions. We'll be having one on Tuesday, January 30th from 7 to 8 p.m. at the Downtown Library, and we'll also have another one in February 11th at 2 p.m. at the Pittsfield branch. And that's just an opportunity for our community to come together and talk about the book that we all read together. So those should be lively discussions. And if you really liked the book, probably wouldn't hurt to go to both either, because they'll probably be different. So that's fun. And then our final event that we're going to be having, though it's before the last book talk, so it's sort of in between the two book talks or book discussions, is going to be when we actually have a conversation with Yaa Agassi. The author of our Washtenaw Reads book is going to be coming to the Rackham Auditorium on Tuesday, February 6th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. So we're really fortunate to be able to hear from her and how she came up with the wonderful characters in the book and what the basis of the story and her background is. So we're all very excited to have her and hope to see you there. And we do anticipate that that event is going to be rather busy, so you may want to get there a little bit early if you're planning on coming. So So those are my highlighted programs for this meeting. And then I just wanted to talk about a couple books that are a little bit older but new to me and new to some other people too because the movie just came out. So this book is called Wonder, and it's by R.J. Palacio, and this came out in 2012. And I skipped it back in 2012 when it first came out, even though everybody was going crazy for it. I thought it's a kid's book and I won't like it, and so I didn't read it back then. But then the movie came out in November of last year, and I thought, well, if I'm going to see the movie, I should probably read the book. And so I took it home planning to skim it and just sort of get through it as quickly as I could. And I read every word of this book. It was so amazing. So I'm just going to read you the book jacket because it's really quick and says it a little bit better than I think I can. So August Augie Pullman was born with a facial difference that prevented him from going to a mainstream school until now. He's about to enter 5th grade at Beecher Prep, and if you've ever been the new kid, then you know how hard that can be. The thing is, Augie's just an ordinary kid with an extraordinary face, but can he convince his new classmates that he's just like them, despite appearances? And so I really loved it, really well written. A lot of us have had that experience of being the awkward, sort of outcast kid in school, and this just really sort of captures that in a heartwarming way. And then as I was looking into this book and the author, I discovered a lesser-known book, which is 365 Days of Wonder. And these are precepts that is a concept that's sort of introduced in school in the book. Precepts are sort of principles or quotes to live by. And so this has 365 precepts in it, one for each day of the year. Of course, you don't have to read just one every day of the year. I was sort of flipping through it and just found an example of one that I really like. And it says, "How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world." And that's an Anne Frank quote. So there's lots of other wonderful gems in here. Both of these books are available through the Washtenaw Library for the Blind as well as the Ann Arbor District Library. And I want to remind everybody that you can contact the Washtenaw Library for the Blind and Physically Disabled through email at wlbpd@aadl.org, phone at 734-327-4224, and you can view our website at wlbpd.aadl.org. Does anybody have any questions for me today? Larry?
Of course. The question is, can you either send me more information or can I find more information on the AADL website about the Apple Group?
Yeah, there is an events page on our website, and it is listed there, but I'll be happy to send you the link.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Well,
All right.
thank you, Katie, for you and everything that the Ann Arbor District Library does.
Thanks a lot.
Yep. All right. Now we will have Sophie present from the Ann Arbor District Library. And Sophie, if you don't mind, what's that?
Center for Independent Living.
Yeah. If you don't mind just sort of stating whom you are and who you're with again, because I think this is my first time meeting you.
Hi, I'm Sophie Skocialak. I'm the NIFTY coordinator at the Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living. When I say NIFTY, I mean Nursing Facilities Transition Coordinator. It's a long title, so I try to keep it to acronyms. I will be replacing Carolyn at this time, obviously not in her amazing role that she did, but just for this council. We have a few workshops coming up, and one event that, not through us, but something that our information and resources person found and wants to be heard around because we thought it was a really cool event coming up. Our first thing is our career services workshop series. It's all through January through March, and our employment specialists are working on these workshops. The first one will be on January 23rd, and it's employer panel, and it's, you get to hear from human resource professionals about what they look for when they hire. And so that's gonna be held at the Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living, which is 3941 Research Park Drive, Ann Arbor, Michigan, 48108. And you can also get more information about this on our website, which I'll tell you at the end. Our next would be the workshop on mental health rights. That's gonna be held by our youth specialists and our peer support. That's from 6 to 8 p.m., again at the Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living. And that will need to be registered on our website. We'll have more information on that if you guys just keep, if anybody wants to know more about it, just keep updating themselves on the Ann Arbor website. And then the community event that we wanted to talk about, it's a night to shine. It's a prom that's held, I think it's in Livingston, Washtenaw, and I think it might be in Wayne. You'll have to check me on that though. But I know that they're still registering people. It's on 242community.com/night-to-shine-, and it's a prom for people ages 14 and older. It's on February 9th. They already have enough volunteers, so they just want more people attending. And I saw pictures and it looks really cool, so. But you can contact us through our email, info@aacil.org, or you can call us at 734-971-0277, or get more information on the AnnArborCIL.org website, or cheese and crackers, our our website, which I think I had right, but I think I wrote it down our email instead. I will get back to you on that one. But I'm pretty sure you can find it if you just look up Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living. So, any questions?
Thank you. Can you please repeat the date for the mental health rate?
That's on February 15th. It's from
February
6 to
15th.
8 p.m.
Okay, is that for youth only, or could it be for all ages?
All ages.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Well, Sophie, first of all, I just want to thank you for taking the time to present to us today, and I wish you nothing but success. I'm sure the rest of us on the commission do as well. And in terms of you filling shoes with Carolyn, I don't think anyone could do that, but we're all very confident that you'll continue the great tradition and the great things that the Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living is doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, now we have public comments. Is there any member of the public that would like to speak? Not at this time. All right. So we'll go ahead and move on now to old business. And the first person up is the city personnel report, and that's with Heather. Heather, do you have anything to report?
I don't.
All right. Well, we think no news is good news, right?
Yep.
All right. Okay, we have the chair report on behalf of Sally Hart Peterson. And at this time, there is not anything to report. So just like Heather, I'm hoping that no news is good news from Sally. And of course, when she is back in town, we can pick up with that information. Also, Community Engagement Committee, Rebecca Benedict could not be with us today. She is, I believe, out of the city, but she will be back at the next meeting. And Allison, you have a question?
I have a question about whether there's been any activities occurring with the community engagement meeting. Has there been any meetings held that you know of, or how can we find out more information about it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know that Rebecca is sort of heading that committee, so if you do have questions, what I can do too is I will follow up with her and CC you on that, saying that you had some questions about the Community Engagement Committee and would like more information. And if anybody does want to get involved with the Community Engagement Committee, you can let Rebecca know, or myself, or Sally, and we will make sure that we, forward that information to you, and also let Rebecca know so that she can inform you on when those meetings are.
Yeah, I think it may be a good idea to make sure the new commissioners have access to our email, so that way they can contact us if they want to join any of the subcommittee. So just to bring that up.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Allison. I think the new commissioners should have access to all of our emails, as well as knowing what committee each commissioner leads, so that if you guys would like to become involved with the committee, you can do so. Larry, you have a question?
Yeah, who does that?
Well, in terms of who does what?
In terms of who makes up the, puts the commissioner list together, puts it out? Is that Sally or is that Heather?
I think it's, Allison, you have a question?
No, I just wanted to answer his question.
Oh, okay.
There's a roster that's created for the commission, but I'm not aware of whether Matt or Nick have had access to that roster. So that
No.
way, information could be sent to them, as to who is on the commission, what the contact information is, and who's on which committee, because I think that information may be useful to the new commissioners.
But the question was, who does it, Allison?
I think Heather does
I
it.
get them putting on there, I just want to know who does it.
Heather usually does
Yeah.
it, or she gets information and puts it together if it's needed. I just know that a roster is created once we have all the information put together.
I
Yeah.
can,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know
I
if
can
that's
do that.
true.
I can do that.
Okay.
All
I
right.
think already one created, it just needs to be updated.
Yeah, is there one already created? Okay.
Okay,
Well, we're
we might
not-
need to check with Sally on that.
Yeah, so to answer your question, Larry, what we're going to do is we're going to check with Sally to see if there is a roster of those people that lead committees, so that the new wonderful commissioners can have access to that, so that you know, again, which committee is being run by whom, and how to get involved if you would like to.
My question was answered, I found out who did it, so we're good.
Okay, there we go. All right, next is Ann Arbor Inclusive. That show is going very well. We did not film on the 12th. We actually had a guest that moved an episode back to the 25th, so we will be taping on the 25th, and it's going very well. We're in our third season now, and moving forward at a great pace. And again, I want to thank the commission for allowing us to have that great show and the wonderful opportunity. And I'd like to thank Linda Evans for all her continued effort and work on that. She's doing a wonderful job as producer. And of course, the Community Television Network does a great job as well. So thank you very much to all the crew and all the staff that help with that. All right, moving on now, we have the report for the Partners and Access Committee with Allison Stroud.
Hello, Kathleen, Larry, and I met with representatives from the Downtown Development Authority last Wednesday to talk about any ongoing activities and projects that they are currently working on. So I'll give you some of the higher level details, and if there's anything that I have missed, Kathleen, Larry, please feel free to jump in. But be patient though. Thank you. So Jada and Amber, I cannot remember their last names, and we all talked about such as the punky meaners and how they can make it clear to people in Ann Arbor as well as outside of Ann Arbor clear that these are accessible punky spaces. So one of the things that they have been doing is making sure the pole is green at the bottom as well as there's handicap signage. Just trying to keep that sign consistent with the meanings that are meant for assassinating accessible punky spaces. And it was my understanding that they were doing a pretty good job of that, but although Kathleen is out and about, and she's very good at keeping an eye on these meanings, she informed me that they're still working on getting the rest of them done, and the Downtown Development Authority is working with Republic Punky to complete that project as the weather permits. So they'll keep us up to date, and I have no doubt that they will finish it and continue to do anything more beyond what they have already accomplished. And another thing that I wanted to mention is that the DDA has been doing some evaluation of the parking structures and the accessible parking spaces near the elevated and the levels. For example, there's a structure on 4th and William, and they've looked through the structure just to make sure that spaces that are meant for accessibility parking is easy to get to, and there's no obstructions in the way. And I know that they have talked about doing another structure construction to where they'll add more levels for elevator access in the structure on Ann and Ashley. And I believe they said that they're planning to have that construction occur in 2019. So they'll let us know what comes along and when the actual timeline will be. And then Amber Miller talked about the sidewalk improvement project on Huron Street between Division and 3rd. And they asked us for some feedback on some experiences or some improvements that could be made that they need to consider. So some of the things that we talked about were repairs that are needed in several places for safety issues, as well as the awkwardness of some crosswalks or crossings to where it's not easy or comfortable for pedestrians to cross at certain points of Huron Street. So there are other issues that we have talked about as well, and they, I believe that they mentioned that they were going to have public meetings to engage with animal citizens about any feedback or input that they may want to share with the sidewalk improvement project. And they will have that information posted on the DDA website. And speaking of the DDA website, I did notice while we were talking about it at the meeting that it's not yet available on the disability resources page. So we will make sure to have that website up there so that way we all can have access to the page and provide that information to the disability community so that they can be aware of the public event coming up. And they do have some other sidewalk improvement projects that will occur down the road, and they will occur on 1st, Ashley, and Williams, but we do not have a timeline for that yet. And I know we do have a plan for the DDA to come back to us to give an update, and one of the projects that they had mentioned that they will talk to us about is the Allen Creek project. And I can't remember exactly because I've been saying so many things right now. They want to talk to us to be able to get involved with their conversations about how we can provide public input and the things that they need to keep in mind when it comes to accessibility and safety. So they will engage us in public meetings for us to talk about that. So I think that's really all I have for the DDA portion of it. And aside from the one fact that they may come to one of the commission meetings to give a presentation, provided that they have enough information to share for any of the projects related to accessibility. And I will move on to a couple other topics that we talked about, which I think are important for everyone to be aware of. Kathleen, I have mentioned, has been working on some sidewalk cut issues or lack thereof. So she's been looking out for those and doing a pretty good job to be detailed up to date. So at one point, she found some cuts that were needed on Parkland by competent and Rite Aid, if you could think about the area. She tried to report it to A2 fix it, but there wasn't really an option to provide a text that said cuts are needed. She was only given the option to name the street. And that was it. So she's been in touch with staff that had these kinds of requests if forwardly that message to them. I think as far as she knows, they haven't really gotten to it. Correct? Okay. But she will also begin to start another letter where the PIA committee will look at and review in terms of the lack of sidewalk curb cut around the Briarwood Mall area. So it's really hard for people who have wheelchairs to be able to get to where they want to go at the mall because there's only 2 curb cuts and around the parking lot. So imagine that. So she will plan to write a letter, and that will be up to the PIA committee to review and determine whether we can send it to the commission. And I think with Kathy's letters, it will be ready, hopefully by the next commission meeting. And finally, to that thing, Mary is still trying to follow up with Craig Hoopy about an incident that he had on Liberty where he fell because of the uneven and I think sidewalks to where it was not clear to where he couldn't go, so he fell. And he's been trying to follow up with Craig Hoopy about it, and he's not going to be about that. And I have been in touch, or trying to stay in touch with nobody about the snow removal assistance project to where they are having a, just for the new commissioner. They're trying to set up a pilot program to where they can provide snow removal assistance for people who have a disability and or people who need help to keep the snow off the sidewalks and the end of the driveways. So they were hoping to start a pilot project this winter. And they have submitted a micro grant to get them funding in order to get them things going. And that involves engaging with neighborhoods, determining the target neighborhoods that they could test it out, and then working with the city staff to agree on terms and criteria and so forth. And hopefully we'll have a pilot program in place for next winter to where nobody can actually help to expand the surfaces for snow removal assistance. And I think I've spoken kind of quickly, so please let me know if you missed anything. There was a lot to report that I wanted to make sure everyone is up to date. Yes, Larry?
The only thing that I'll add is, no, I did get a hold of Craig Hoopy, and I sent you that. The only thing the last response I've got from him was, I have no idea whose it is. It's private property, so that's not good enough for me, so I'm going to follow that up pretty soon.
Come on. Does
And-
anyone have any question? No? Okay.
Well, I did have one question. Hopefully the Snow Buddies program and sort of that pilot, were they able to implement anything this winter so far? And have you heard much about it, or, how is it moving forward, Allison?
No, they're not going to be able to implement a snow removal pilot program, but they can, what we can do as PIA committee is to help them complete them tasks. And that involves talking with organizations that may provide information about demographic characteristics of some neighborhoods and who have or may need the most help with removing the snow from the sidewalk. So those are the kinds of things that we can be doing, but we have to make sure we cooperate with nobody.
Right.
And that we are giving what they need.
All right, well, thank you, Allison, and Kathleen, for everything you guys are doing on that committee. It's a lot, and you guys are getting a lot done. And you continue to just do a lot of great things, and thank you very much for all your efforts. We appreciate that. All right. Moving forward now, we have recruiting activity, and that is Mr. Larry Keeler.
That would be me.
That's right.
We have done nothing since, I've heard nothing, well, I take that back. I've heard nothing from the mayor's office since the last meeting, but you see, we do have two of the results from the last couple months sitting here, Mr. Nick and Mr. Matt. They are our newest commissioners. They were here last month. And I will check again and see if we've got anything from the mayors, but so far we don't. So you can get an application or call and maybe you can even get your application helped to be filled out at 974-6161, which is the mayor's office. And you can go to disabilityissues@gmail.com and look into it there. Thank you.
All right, and can I ask both of the new commissioners, can I just ask, why you joined the commission, and then what do you have to say to any of those that are interested in joining? Why should they join?
Matthews. Matthew Solomon. I joined the commission inspired by Jody, who some of the folks on this committee know, and also with a resolve to try and get disability issues addressed in this community in a more thoroughgoing way that will help improve the quality of life for Ann Arbor residents who are disabled in various ways. I think it's an overlooked minority. This community is very fond of congratulating itself, but I think the disability issues have a long way to go, and I'd like to help that process.
Wonderful, and thank you very much.
Oh, did I not press it? Oh, there, I think I did.
Yeah, they can be finicky.
So I'm Nick Kaselniak. I decided to apply for the Commission on Disability Issues primarily because, so my background is as an occupational therapist. And when I was in my OT program a few years ago, I worked with a guy who actually was one of the people who helped draft the ADA. And he really inspired me on the basis of his efforts in social justice and disability issues. And so when I saw that there was an opening, I was like, well, this would be a really great thing to do. And he actually had recently passed away a couple years ago, and I was like, man, I'd like to get involved in this. Being an occupational therapist at the hospital and seeing a lot of the issues that people, the residents face, both in Ann Arbor and across the state, I know that there are a lot of issues that we can address. So I wanted to be a part of that. So thank you.
Wonderful. And again, thank you both very much. All right. So next, we have the Transportation Commission update from Mr. Tim Hull.
Yeah, so few things. I know that there was a couple presentations at the last meeting. One thing is we talked a little bit more about the crosswalk ordinance, but really I don't think we came out with much. Just that we had previously recommended that it be kept, though perhaps more outreach efforts to educate the population about this. But the other presentations we had one from the Ann Arbor Airport, which was just kind of describing their operations, and the other was one about winter maintenance. And that one was a little interesting. They talked about like when they shovel, like based on what. And one thing that I did hear that kind of made me think a little bit is that like bus stops and like the crosswalk, like cutouts for the crosswalk are not shoveled. And I've encountered this, and as well as the fact that, of course, sidewalks are the responsibility of the property owners. And this all together, I guess, yeah, that's the way it is. But I suspect the reason for the bus stops and the crosswalks is perhaps they're lumped in with the sidewalks as the property owners. But anyway, I really think the more I think about this, the more I'm kind of wondering what the history is behind this, because in my experience, this is kind of going into a more personal side as opposed to a report of the meeting, is that, yeah, you just frequently see all the time these sidewalks and crosswalks that are just not shoveled well. And it's just, yeah, you notice the road's all shoveled and the sidewalks are not. And it's just, it seems kind of weird that we have a double standard that cars get the full-on city shoveling and the sidewalks, we just leave it up to, it just depends how judicious the property owner is. And just imagine if we did that for cars. People would be rioting. It seems kind of like, not to say there might be a good reason for it, and I'm kind of curious what the history is there and why it's done and whether they've seriously looked at changing it. But in a city that prides itself on pedestrian access and all this, and people with access for people with disabilities, this just seems backwards. It's just,
I mean, the only thing that I would note is, I wouldn't get too enthusiastic about the snow removal on our roads, at least not in my
well,
neighborhood.
I'm not saying the snow
Not in my
removal on-
neighborhood has that happened. Does it ever happen? And it's a continuous disappointment for those of us whose snow does not get removed in the street. I don't know quite who to take that up with, but I think it's worth addressing.
And I did want to add that I do agree that it is a continuous disappointment that the obstruction in the way, the pedestrian access. And I just want to give you a little bit of a light at the end of the title that nobody, the mentor grant and the pilot program is also meant to help keep snow removed from accessible routes to get to the bus stops, to the sidewalks. That's one of the main priorities in that pilot program, but unfortunately, it's not going to actually happen until next year. But that's something that we are talking about and hoping to expand across the city eventually.
Larry, you had a comment?
Yeah, I do. And I think the big problem, Tim, is that we have, we've always had a problem with those the bus stop areas and the curb cut areas and the crosswalk areas because nobody really wants to claim them. If you got one out, if you got a bus stop out in front of your house, you're not gonna shovel it because, man, you don't use it. And the city's going, well, geez, that's AAT's responsibility. AAT's, well, that's the city's responsibility. So we got to stop the runaround if that's, that we got to figure. That stopping the runaround would be the best thing.
Yeah, this is really
I
kind of.
used to shovel out the bus stop around the corner from me.
Well, I think all of you bring up a great point in the fact that, for those that are, pedestrians or people that, take bikes or walks or use crutches or wheelchairs or, whatever method of transportation other than a motor vehicle, those sidewalks are just as important as a road. And so, we can only hope that with the implementation of snow buddies, as Allison talked about, coming up next year, and then things sort of leading into that, that we can continue to put that on the forefront of what we're doing, and hopefully we can come up with some solutions to the sidewalks being clear.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, though, in the end, to really be everything, if it's only in one neighborhood, that really only matters for people in or passing through that neighborhood. And there needs to be something universal, ultimately. It just, yeah, I mean, but one point I would also bring up is they brought up they were going to have some kind of mobility study of the lower town area. That was the other thing they brought up. That's more something that's going to be discussed further at this next meeting. It's something that City Council wanted the commission to work on.
Is that one tomorrow, that meeting?
Yeah, it's tomorrow. Our meetings were like on the same day, but this calendar year, there seems to have been some issues with room availability. So some weeks it's the same day, some weeks it's a Thursday. I think, yeah, it's all messed up because sometimes they're Thursday, sometimes they're Wednesday. It's just.
Well, and Tim, as soon as that study comes out, I'm sorry, did you have a question?
No, I just wanted to follow up on a point Tim made, which is really just a question about salting, in addition to snow removal, in terms of the policies on salting, because when the roads are unsalted and one is trying to get across them, extremely treacherous if there's no traction there. So I don't know what the city's salting policy is. It seems to have changed in the last few years, but that's anecdotal evidence. So I think it's a disability issue that's worth flagging for those who are in control of such things.
I mean, I'd have to agree with you there, and, hopefully there's something, like I said, that can be done in the future in terms of salting, whether it's, goes as far as it's nobody asking a resident whether they can salt on their property and the sidewalk and whether they agree with that, or whether it's, some other form of saying, hey, do you mind putting some salt out here or shoveling so that this pathway may be clear? But either way, I'm confident that, all of us can come up with a solution to that. And Tim, as that mobility survey that you were speaking of, as that comes out and that information comes out, would you please let us know so that we could take a look at that and be able to sort of have that information?
Yeah, I'll let you know. I mean, I don't know that much about it because they've just started they're just gonna start talking about it this week, and I'm not exactly familiar with a lot about the area, but.
Sure.
I know it's kind of near where Broadway and where the train station is, and yeah, just.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Tim. I appreciate the information. All right. So moving on from the Transportation Committee update, we now have the U of M Council for Disability Concerns November meeting information with Kathleen.
It's actually January 9th meeting. We're
Oh.
up to date. So, thank you.
Pardon me.
No worries. So it was our first meeting under the direction of Stephanie Rosen, who is the new chairperson of the Michigan Council for Disability Concerns. And I thought it was a very good meeting. We had Donna Omachinsky, who gave us information about a study that's being conducted by researchers in the Department of Physical Medicine and Rehab, that's also in collaboration with the College of Pharmacy. And the study is going to include an e-learning course for health professionals related to spinal cord injuries. There is a flyer available. I don't know if anyone got a copy of the meeting minutes, but I can forward them to Heather, and maybe Heather can get them on, because there are links so that if anybody is interested. The big news is that on January 27th, which is a Saturday coming up, there is the Army-Navy wheelchair basketball game coming to Chrysler Arena. Doors open at 4 p.m. and the game starts at 5. It is a free event to anyone in the public who wishes to attend. It is a very engaging, entertaining, act of sportsmanship. I was able to attend last year, and I have to tell you, it's very exciting to watch. In a way, it's a little cringeworthy. It reminded me of going to high school football games because you can hear the wheelchairs slamming into each other. But when I had to watch it from the upper area, and it's like watching an intricate dance. They're very aggressive, very assertive on the floor. Men, women, playing together, very, very exciting. So that was an event that has been organized by Gerald Hoff since 2006. It gets bigger and better every year, so I encourage council members and our commission members, I apologize, to attend if you can. Again, that is January 27th, Chrysler Arena, 4 p.m. doors open, 5 p.m. is the game, and it is free, folks. So you can't say that about a lot of stuff in Ann Arbor, right? You have something?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to add, too, I think it's one of the best events of the year, not only just for disability awareness, but for sports in general. You know, this is a town where we really pride ourselves on the University of Michigan and their athletic programs and their ability. And, you know, with it being right here at Chrysler Center, they're also going to have the Michigan cheer and dance teams as well, doing a wonderful showcase. And, of course, thank you to the University of Michigan Council for Disability Concerns and Gerald Hoff for putting on that great event. And like you said, tell your friends, tell coworkers, tell family, and bring them out. It's a free event, and it's one of the best of the year.
They have also started a new program at CS Children's Mott. I'm not going to get, I believe it's Daniel Elman. I apologize if I got that wrong. But they're conducting basketball seminars for wheelchairs for the children. And I do believe that they may have a little showcase also going on at the Army-Navy game. So that would be something fun to watch as well. We said goodbye to Carolyn Grawi, as we all have. Unfortunately, we've lost her advocacy. She was here for 32 years, and she was with the Council on Disability Concerns since 1987. The last thing I have is Akio Kakashima described a project that's going on with the graduate students right now to assist blind persons with absentee voting, which is a really big concern. Anyone who is blind who goes to vote at the polls, there is equipment there to help you vote in a way that your vote is your private vote. But right now, when you receive an absentee ballot, the only way to do it is with someone else. You have to have someone read the ballot to you, and therefore, it takes away the privacy and the privilege of having your vote be your own. And so they're working on a new mobile app that will assist blind voters with filling out for their particular, their exact little venue. So let's say they're in Ann Arbor Ward 5. The app would then pull up Ann Arbor Ward 5. They would fill everything in on the app, and then it would somehow work in conjunction with their printer. They would be able to put their absentee ballot into the printer and then have it print from the app, and then they would also be able to take what they're hoping is, they would also be able to capture what's been printed and then have it reviewed to make sure that it was printed accurately, so that it would give persons who are have sight issues or blind can have the most freedom in conducting their voter privileges, their rights. So that was everything that I have, and if you did not get a copy of the meeting minutes, I will be happy to forward this to Heather, who can get it to the commissioners, and then you can access the links.
I actually did not see that in the packet, so.
Okay.
Well, great, Kathleen. Thank you for all the wonderful information, and what interesting information about that app. And I think that's wonderful that they're doing that for voters. And yeah, again, if anybody needs those meeting minutes or would like more information, yeah, if you could forward that to Heather, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Moving on. Are there any announcements? Oh, Larry.
Well, yeah, there are.
Okay.
Well, this is a past announcement, actually. It's a couple weeks ago. The Monday before last, a couple of the commissioners managed to get down to see the recognition that the mayor gave Carolyn Growie, and it worked out very well. She had some other members from the community there supporting and seeing her go, and the mayor did an excellent job, and I even think Kirk was there. So yeah, it was good. It was really good for her, and she had responded to some of those that came, and she was really gracious, and so was the mayor, really gracious for having her help for so long.
Well, Larry, and it was a great event. I was very grateful to be there, and Carolyn Growie Day is a great day in this community, and personally, she's been a great friend, and we're definitely going to miss her.
Oh, and she did say the mayor was a little taller than her.
Indeed. All right, thank you, Larry. Is there any other announcements? Kirk, you have an announcement?
Yeah, a couple brief things in response to some concerns that have been raised about sidewalk and street clearing. I know several of you are aware of a really useful app called A2 Fix It. A2, the letter A, the number 2, and then Fix It. You can download from your favorite app store. This has been a really important way for city staff to be alerted to problems. So I think hundreds of residents at this point are using it. And it's, in lieu of emails or voicemails that can, have been able to slip through the cracks, this is a centralized system for identifying where problems are and whether they're getting resolved or not. So it's been a great tool to sort of track deficiencies and also where we're doing well. So I think the weather is getting nothing but more challenging as the years wear on. So I think more resources will have to be dedicated to precipitation issues in general, whether it's snow or rain. But A2 Fix It really helps staff know where the problem areas are. And they're also, in case some of you have noticed some potholes popping up recently, I myself have reported at least 10 in the past week. So it lets you take a picture, identify, it reads where you are, and you can fill in the drop-down menu of what kind of problem it is, or write in something of your own. So I just wanted to highlight that really quickly. There is some useful information on the city's website as well, if you just go into the main page and type in snow clearing, about the policies for streets and sidewalks, including where they do and don't use salt based on different considerations. Other thing I'm super excited about, which is relatively new news, is the announcement that the city will be holding its first really broad-scale Citizens Academy this year. For several years, we've done a police, fire, and court Citizens Academy for people with those interests. But many cities have had success with holding a more broad-scale general Citizens Academy, where you're introduced to how the park system runs, how the water gets treated, how the sewage gets treated, how the roads are maintained or not, or why, and what things cost, the budgeting, and really how the city works. So I'm super excited about it, and if anybody is interested or knows people who are interested, we're really hoping this inspires people to have the knowledge base to be comfortable with volunteering for a board or commission, or if they're on a board or commission, getting that next step up and saying, I'd be comfortable running for office. I mean, this is something that, a lot of municipalities struggle with. Local government is not always the sexiest volunteer job in town. Increasingly, I think people are recognizing that, they do their part, they vote, they want to play a role in the broader community, but when it comes down to it, your day-to-day lives are really affected on the local level. So I would encourage others to sign up. If you go onto the city's website, a2gov.org, and you type Citizens Academy in the search box, you'll be taken to the page. There's a fun little application you get to do, which involves a selfie at your favorite city property and other things. So I encourage you to do that. I think the application process ends in about 3 or 4 weeks.
And Kirk, just one more, I have one point, Larry, and then I'll get to you. But I just wanted to thank Kirk and the city for doing that. I think that's very informative to all the citizens to know kind of how the different city facets work and get to know about that. So if they're interested, hopefully they can sign up.
Yeah, and I'll just add briefly that we're trying to be proactive in terms of getting awareness of this program into communities that tend to feel like they don't have a voice in government. I think that's been made clear in different political circles lately that, to have power, you need a voice. And I think trying to recruit and get this information into communities that are not typically represented is really important.
Awesome. Larry, you had a question?
I do. Is the citizens thing, is this going to be a series of events, or is it gonna be just one big event? Because, well, I'm thinking, for instance, all of us have a specialty in what maybe one of us has a specialty in transportation and has a really good, really head for transportation, and one might wanna get your job there, Kirk, or, depending on the facet, is it gonna be a multifaceted program, or?
Yes, and thank you for asking that. So the academy itself will take place on Wednesday evenings, starting at the end of March. So it's 7 consecutive Wednesday evenings that they require that you commit to. Each evening, I believe you're going to be going on site, whether it's to the wastewater treatment plant or our water treatment plant, or a different park, or the recycling facility. So it will take place over the course of 7 different evenings, and each evening will have a separate focus.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
because commissioners ought to even just get involved if we feel like it, just to improve our knowledge.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Allison, you had a question?
Yeah, so the Quick question. The Donated Academy Day, are you having it every year? There's a repetition of 7 events every year or on a regular basis?
So this is the first year that
Right.
the Broad Citizens Academy is being held. So the hope is that it will be an annual thing,
Okay.
roughly at the same time of year, in
Okay.
the late winter, early spring. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thanks.
Kathleen?
Throwing a kink into this one. So, as a person who uses a wheelchair, and you're holding it at 7 different places, possibly the water plant and things like that, how are we looking at accessibility?
So I actually am not 100% sure on the locations.
Okay.
But please, let me get an answer to your question and just make sure that if and which events will be fully accessible.
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks.
I think we're carpooling with you, Kirk, isn't that right?
Yeah, I'll hop into my Volkswagen.
Any other announcements? All right. Going on to new business. So there is a resolution to move 2018 meetings, the meeting time, to 4 p.m. And, of course, it says that, Larry, you might want to comment a little bit more on that. Do you have any other questions? I mean, if that was the case, I would prefer to do that, when Sally is here, so that she can also, kind of weigh into her thought on that.
Well, Sally suggested that I bring it up last month.
Okay.
So the only problem we were having, well, the reason this comes about is because there have been some commissioners that have been involved in other things that get them here a little later. Some would like to work a little longer. And there has been various attempts through the ways to change the time and place and date. I think if we change the day of the thing, that would probably throw people off. But if we make it a little later, just a little bit later, the thought was that maybe some of the people who work and whatnot can get here. I was also tasked last month with asking our main speakers, the people from Center for Independent Living and Katie down there at the library, if they wouldn't mind if it was moved a little later, because that was one of the questions that Mr. Sullivan brought up over there. And the answer is, yeah, it wouldn't matter to them. They could send representatives later, just in case that makes a difference in the voting.
And so by them, you mean the library and the Center for Independent Living?
Yes, but I thought I said that, yes, the Center for Independent Living and the library.
Okay,
Those two main presenters could present a little bit later.
okay. Allison, you had a question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, I think I brought this up at the last meeting, but did you already communicate this change in time to the captioner that in charge of providing captions for our meetings? Because she would probably need to be aware of that change in advance.
Yeah, that's
Whether
correct.
we're
We would
confirming
probably,
that.
I agree with you, Allison. I apologize. I didn't mean to step into your comment, but I agree with you. If we were to indeed change the time from 3:15 until 4, I believe the closed captioning person would have to be notified as well.
Yeah,
So-
I'm sure she is now that we're talking about it.
Yes, I'm sure
Just
she is.
saying.
Thank you very much. However, again, I wouldn't want to put this change in stone today, because I would like Sally to fully agree on that and be able to accommodate that as well, with her being chair.
So you would like somebody to move to table it? Is that what you'd like?
Yeah, that is what I would like until the next meeting. I mean, is everyone okay with that? I would just prefer that Sally be involved with that decision. So,
Well,
okay.
Has anybody reached out to Sally? Because I feel like it just, like we've been waiting here for a couple months here.
I did say Sally was the one that wanted me to bring it up, and I can reach out to her this evening for that matter, but I think since she wanted me to bring it up, it sounded like, but if you're uncomfortable, Zach, I would approve tabling it and get a hold of Sally to discuss it with her, but
Sure, well, I'll just
I
make.
was thinking since she brought it up.
Right. Well, and to me, it's not a matter of being comfortable or not. It's just a matter of being considerate.
Oh, no, I get there. I sat there
Yeah.
last month, and I know what you mean.
Sure. Okay, Allison, you had a question?
Well, Kathleen had her hand up, and I know Kathleen and I spoke about this earlier, say that we thought that Mary was going to start up an ad hoc committee to start talking about the changes in the time, as well as communicate this with Sally about the questions that we had at the meeting last month. So if you were able to talk to Sally about these things, and have Sally give you the confirmation, I'm after you, Larry.
Oh, I could do that, but I think this was initially supposed to be separate from the bylaw committee, since we wouldn't have to write that in our bylaws, since we're not changing that much. I don't think we'd have to write this particular thing in the bylaws. But like I said, if you want to, I'll move to table it, and I'll write Sally this evening and let her know that we tabled the issue until she came into town.
Right, and I understand, and I'll get to you in 1 second, Allison. I understand that, time, that is, a pressing issue for a lot of the commissioners. We want to make sure that they're here for the entire meeting, and we want to make sure that everyone can be here to get all the information and share all the information that they have as well, and the projects that they're working on. So I do understand, I would say, the passion behind that. However, again, I just want to make sure, as Vice Chairman, that Sally is here and is informed of that before we move forward.
One more thing before I go.
Sure.
Do you have a copy of that motion in front of you? Because I want to make sure it includes because right now, under our bylaws, we can go no later than 5:30 under our bylaws. And I can't remember if we put it in the motion, I think I did, that if we were to move the meeting till 4, that it would go no later than 6.
Okay. I don't have that in front of me, Larry, unfortunately. However, what I would like to do with the commission, if all of you are in favor of this, is table this discussion till the next meeting so that Sally can be here to be able to discuss that with us, but also be informed of that so that we're all on the same page. Allison?
Yeah, I wanted to add that if we had received the information in the document in advance, I think it would have been more likely that we would have approved the meeting time today. But because I don't think all of us were informed about it and had enough information to kind of think about it in advance, it's better to table it and have everybody involved understand what's happening here.
Yeah, one thing I would say is I'm just concerned that this might come back again because Sally travels a lot, and if that were to happen again next month, that we would have to table it again. And I want to make sure that that won't happen.
Well, I can do my best as Vice Chairman to also communicate with Sally between now and the next meeting, just to make sure that she knows that this is a topic of discussion and that it is important to the commissioners and to the commission that we make a decision on whether we're going to stay at 3:15 or whether we move to 4 o'clock. Larry?
Well, I thought it was going to go away. One more thing. I will talk to Sally this evening, and if she doesn't happen to be here, I promise you I'll reopen the motion and I'll bug our vice chair to call the question.
Okay, that sounds
Getting
good.
further information from Sally.
Sure. Kirk, you had a comment?
I was just curious before we close this out, I mean, since we don't have the same commissioners necessarily at every meeting, if there's, and maybe this is something that this ad hoc subcommittee is doing, but I know we're doing this to accommodate potentially some commissioners who are not able to be here today or some other days. If just, by way of immediate feedback, if moving this 45 minutes later would inconvenience anybody who's currently at the table, is it worth asking that really briefly, or just some questions we should be asking? If any, maybe this has unanimous appeal, I don't know, but just like what questions this subcommittee should be asking in the next couple weeks.
Right. Kathleen?
That was one of my concerns at the last meeting, is Heather wasn't able to attend, and I wasn't sure what time she ended her city job. Would that affect her? And I wasn't sure how that would affect Kurt as well. So I really would like to table it as well.
Okay. Okay, so then, we will table it until the next meeting. However, Larry, I know you said that you are going to pursue it, and of course, I hope that I am, kept, in the loop on that, and of course,
You will be.
at the next meeting, it will be addressed in terms of, what the decision is, okay? Kurt?
So just to help out Larry and others who might be soliciting feedback, I know, I mean, we're not supposed to deliberate, I guess, via email, like reply all and have a discussion, but I think it would be okay if people sent questions or feedback directly to Larry or whoever I don't want to throw you under the bus here, whoever the subcommittee ends up being who's collecting this feedback.
Well,
Is
Sally threw me under the bus, so you can reply to me.
okay, so Larry will collect it and you'll coordinate with Sally
Yes.
or, okay.
Okay.
Sounds great.
But other than that, folks, we will definitely discuss this at the next meeting and hopefully come to an agreement on what the time will be. Okay? With that being said, is there anything else by any commissioner at this time? If not, we are adjourned, and I'd like to thank all the commissioners, including the 2 new commissioners. Thank you all for being here, and Larry, you have one final comment.
Did you miss 2 items?
No, I did not.
Oh, I thought, okay, maybe you did, oh, maybe they didn't make the agenda, okay.
I covered
mind.
everything on the agenda, Larry.
Okay, never mind, okay.
Did you have 2 extra items?
Well,
It's always next month.
Yeah, we
we
can,
can do it next month.
okay, all right,
Since you didn't put them on there.
okay. All right, Larry. Well, thank you, folks, again. This meeting is adjourned, and I would like to thank the Community Television Network and also the City of Ann Arbor and the Commission. Thank you very much.